Shoot from the heart. Elevate the mundane. Walk the same lane every single day in the spirit of play. Don't shoot from the hip. Shoot from the heart. Stop overthinking and just start. So much to do in this beautiful world. Just carve your own path and give it a twirl. Sing, dance, and hike up the mountain. You may not reach the peak, but one day your body will be back down under the ground. So don't play it safe. Find comfort in danger's embrace. With courage in your stride and fear set aside. What's poppin', people? It's Dante, getting my morning started off here along the Schuylkill River Trail. This beautiful, beautiful morning, early morning. You know, I hear a lot of people say they don't have time to shoot in the day. Practical suggestion, go to bed, wake up a little bit earlier. Yeah, when you're really in tune with your body, you're gonna have a lot of energy and want to get out of your door right away and just watch the sunrise, right? I think there's something about power, energy, strength, and courage that maybe isn't talked about as much within the realm of photography, right? Where I believe that courage is the name of the game, right? Of course, we must possess the curiosity, right? The curiosity is what just leads you, right? Where it's like, oh, you open your eyes, you're just curious, right? Like, without curiosity, you're not going to want to leave your room, firstly. But then you need the courage to go out there onto the front lines of life, embracing the unknown. You know, for this is where I believe the photographer thrives. Ooh. And yeah, I believe you must set fear aside. You know, where I could fall in this river right now. I could fall in that river any day, and I just I don't know, there's something about danger and embracing it openly with courage that I feel like I've always possessed since I was a very young boy. You know, I remember when I was a young boy growing up here along the Schuylkill River, Schuylkill meaning hidden creek, and the Wissahickon being in the neighborhood Manayunk, meaning where we go to drink, where the Lenape tribe went to drink. I would actually learn about the Native Americans, I believe around the time of like 3rd or 4th grade. We started learning about history, and we started with the Native Americans and the tribes, and I found that to be really intriguing as a young boy. And I think subconsciously there was something in me that wanted to live this way, like the natives, but in the spirit of play, where I remember building teepees with sticks, sharpening spears, attempting to hunt deer, building bridges with stones, you know, sort of embracing the unknown in the forest, climbing trees, swinging from vines. I remember discovering caves and even a totem pole at the end of this climb up the mountainside. And you know, there was this inner curiosity and courage that I possessed, you know, where I would actually blaze my own trails. You know, I remember the forest in the Wissahickon had a lot more trees than it does now. A lot of them were cut down where I used to explore. I remember having to carve my own path and, you know, make my own sort of way in the forest. At a very young age, I even learned to skateboard. And so when I first learned to skateboard, you know, I learned at FDR Skate Park, which is this legendary DIY skate park where Yeah, the ramps are extremely large. It's all concrete. They're basically like these oversized ramps built by skaters. It's a legendary skate park, needless to say. And I'll never forget the first day, like literally day one when we went to the skate park. Maybe I was around like 5 years old or something, like really little. And this guy went up the biggest ramp in the park and fell back and smashed his skull, was gushing with blood. An ice cream truck came by and healed his wound with ice cream on his head or whatever they were doing to suppress the blood flow. And man, that guy was hardcore, but what a free spirit. You know, a skater embracing danger is something that I admire. You know, I've actually always admired, when I was a boy, mostly the skaters that, you know, do vert or, you know, skate at a skate park with ramps and obstacles and things, more so than street skateboarders personally. There was just something about the way that they fly up into the sky like a bird, and the courage required to overcome and conquer these obstacles. You know, I'll never forget ollieing my first stair set and how you have to throw your body down the stairs over and over again, just getting used to falling and getting back up. You know, maybe there's some lesson there at a very young age that I learned, where you must go forth with courage and without fear. And I really do think that these kind of things shape the way that you perceive fear and courage later on in life. And I'm really grateful to have learned to skateboard when I was a child, and also have the opportunity to explore the forest and the unknown. You know, there was something about being out there in the woods when I was a boy, or skateboarding and throwing myself down obstacles that, yeah, shape who I am today as a photographer who has certainly taken the dangerous path. You know, since the first time I decided to travel with my camera, when I traveled to Israel and explored the various cities all throughout the West Bank. You know, I visited every major Palestinian city. And, well, I'll never forget actually when I was in Jerusalem and I wanted to visit this location in East Jerusalem. It was called Shuafat, because they have a wall that guards this neighborhood, right? And I was like, oh, I want to go photograph the wall. I want to go conquer the wall, right? That's maybe the most interesting thing to photograph, or the thing that would have the most impact in a photograph. And just something I was just curious about generally. So, you know, I mustered up the courage to go there, but it occurred to me, I got the courage to go there, but I had to actually disconnect from all the preconceived notions, right? So that's why I believe you must set your body in motion without preconceived notion. You know, I think that doing research and studying and preparing, it kind of throws you astray. And you know, what I'll say is, when I Googled and I went to the news and the images and things of this location that I wanted to visit, it was all doom and gloom. Essentially, if you were to look at the images, if you were going to look at the news and the articles about this location, you would never muster up the courage to go there. I remember it took me a few days to then finally say, you know what, I'm going there. Because I had to forget what I thought I knew about this location, right? I think we must forget what we think we know, you know, and to just go. You know, don't overthink, because yeah, it'll stop you in your tracks. And needless to say, this was the time that I learned to overcome this kind of fear and courage in photography and exploration, you know, where I just went in. You know, I entered this community. You go through a military checkpoint, you put your camera bag through the metal detector, through the x-ray machine. You know, the Israeli soldier looks you up and down, questions you with your American passport, like, what the hell are you doing here? But then you go in and you kind of go through the unknown unscathed, right? When you're really courageous and you walk with confidence and without fear, you sort of just disappear, right? You become one with the crowd. You start to find yourself in a dangerous place or an unknown situation, you know, sort of being welcomed with grace when you embrace the spirit of play and you don't take yourself so seriously. I mean, you'll really be surprised, right? When you go into a new place and you're courageous but playful like a child, and you treat the world like a playground. I mean, so many doors will unlock, like quite literally, where I was invited into homes, drinking tea and coffee, you know, eating food with new people, meeting new friends. And then I remember walking along no man's land by the wall. And this was the scariest location because there's like nobody in sight. There's this big hill looming with trash. I remember I got hit by a rock from some boy up on the hillside. It smacked me in the back of the leg. And that hurt. But then I remind myself of how I used to play. You know, when I was a boy, we would climb the trees and build these forts. And we had lots of acorns in my neighborhood. And when the acorns would fall from the tree, we would collect them in buckets and pelt each other and throw acorns at each other. You know, we would have acorn fights. You know, and that was super fun. All these guys are on a motorcycle. Hey! It's so funny. They're just chilling on a freaking like moped on the bike trail. These guys are crazy. I love it. You know, chaos amuses me. And yeah, needless to say, I eventually made a photograph of this boy throwing this baby stroller against the wall, and man, like, I'm still just so proud of myself and happy with the result of the photograph and the experience. I remember climbing on the top of the wall, freaking feeling like I conquered this location, you know, where I not only did I photograph the location, but I played there. I conquered there. You know, I climbed that wall and I stood on top of it tall, and you know, I just kept going back out there. And I think there's a lesson here where you have to go forward without fear. You know, I think a lot of the news nowadays, it just promotes fear. Like, that's my idea with the news. It's just hate, it's fear. It's all doom and gloom. It's just trying to not get you to leave your room. You know, if I were to sit back and turn on the TV and sit there in the morning with my cup of coffee, and I'm hearing about the shootings in the city and the chaos, you know, that's what they always show. You know, I'm not gonna wanna go out there. I'm not gonna wanna go and see my town. I know that my town is beautiful. I know that there's good and bad people. That's anywhere in the world. And yeah, it really is unfortunate that the news promotes so much fear. And good morning.
Good morning.
So yeah, I think step one, like, practical suggestion is don't check the news. It's all doom and gloom. I don't trust it, neither should you. Another thing I did along my journey was really drastic and crazy, was joining the Peace Corps. And I say that because it really does require a lot of courage to go to these places where I lived off the grid. Like, you hear all these fantasies about wanting to, yo, Grand Theft Auto, GTA. This
Spring Garden Street.
Where's Spring Garden Street? I don't know. Wait, you're delivering Uber?
Yeah.
Bro, follow the map. You gotta get off of this. No, go there.
From there?
I don't know. Spring Garden, where the fuck? Oh, you want to go up?
Outside?
Yeah.
Scooters are allowed there?
Go. No. No, but no police, so it's okay. Yeah, it's no shit. Yeah, this way, this way. Up there. It's like a maze. Zoop, 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 zoop.
Thank you, man.
Okay, maybe these guys are from India. Man, these guys from India drive like maniacs. When I was in Mumbai, they just do whatever. I'm like, it's fucking Grand Theft Auto. Bro, I don't know. That's so funny. They're using the freaking map in the way that it shows somebody walking, I think, because this trail is leading them that way. Spring Garden, it's like across the bridge, but if they go up here and wind up crossing, they'll be over there on the other side. I mean, fuck, dude, I don't know what to say. This is funny as shit, though. I just helped them a little bit. They're like, can mopeds go? Can scooters go? You know, the other day I saw this father with his daughter, and the daughter was bawling her eyes out, crying for like 15 minutes, and I was just trying to sit there in the park and just relax or whatever. And you know, she just wanted to go in the little fountain, but there's like a sign that says no swimming, and kids always swim in the fountain. It's no one cares. But this father was just following the rules so much. What a boring father. It's like, dude, just let the kid in the it's not gonna, nothing's gonna happen. You know, we read a sign, we read the rules, and we're like, yes, I must oblige, yes, like freaking robots. And then, okay, so yeah, when I this bike has just been chilling here for a freaking year. So I joined the Peace Corps, Zambia, Africa. Amazing time. I was working in the Department of Fisheries, rural aquaculture, fish farming. I learned the local language, lived with the Bemba tribe, lived off the grid, right? We hear all these fantasies. Oh, I want to live off the grid, man. Get away from the city. You know, just get my plot of land. It's like, oh, do you? It's like, do you want to go and draw your water from the well? You know, do you want electricity in your life? It's like, have you ever lived under a thatched roof? It's like, once you experience it, you realize the privilege of living in a modern society with technology and electricity, with clean running water from a tap. I mean, like, those simple things go a long way. But regardless, when I arrived in my village, the first thing that occurred required courage. I mean, I remember when I first stepped foot in my village and I said, hi, I'm Dante, you know, Mulishani, like explaining myself and where I'm from and just getting to know each other. And then they're like, oh, here's your house, you know, and they took me to this mud hut, you know, this, you know, small home with just like a bed and a mosquito net, and there was like a table with like a chair and like 2 windows. And when I opened the door, on the other side of the door, there was a scorpion with its freaking, like the tail with like that poisonous freaking spike. I don't know what the hell the scorpions have on them, but it was just like there. Like there was just a scorpion just there. Like they didn't even clean up my house before I arrived or something, but maybe they just crawl in all the time. And so I had to pick up a rock right there as soon as I arrived and smash this scorpion on the door and kill it as my first task in the Peace Corps, my first task arriving off the grid in the village. And yeah, needless to say, that was pretty insane. And then I remember sleeping under the mosquito net, you know, seeing spiders crawling around my room, you know, and just kind of closing my eyes and just praying to God that something doesn't crawl up my ass. Because when you go to bed in the village, you hear all of these freaking insects and critters and things outside. It's like, oh my God, let me just go to bed. Can I get like a sound machine? You know, you have to overcome this fear of the unknown when you live in a village. You know, you hear all these sounds, these dogs howling and all sorts of stuff. You're under the mosquito net, like God forbid you get freaking malaria or something. It's like, ooh, that cloud is so nice. Oh man, that's beautiful. That's so nice. Oh man. You know, there's something so special about visiting and walking the same lane every single day, where there's always a nuance and a gradual change in the same scene over time, depending on the time of the day, the lighting conditions, you know, where the like there's just such a simple pleasure I find in the changes that occur over time, you know, as the seasons change, as the light changes, you know, the way that the light casts across the surfaces and gives shape and form and etches detail around things. It always fascinates me as a photographer, as I'm reminded that we are merely painting with light, you know, back to the basics with black and white, light and shadow. Yeah, there's something about light and the way that it is always changing, always moving, always flowing, similar to the water over there. And I believe that our bodies too should be in this state of movement, right? Just keep moving, move onward, you know, without fear. Set it aside, you know, put courage in your stride. I think that is where we can thrive. Shoot from the heart. Don't shoot from the hip. Shoot from the heart.